So welcome to my dinner table. I'm just gonna give you a little update of all the things I've been crafting lately. Let's get started with what I'm wearing today. So if you've watched my Everything I Knit in 2024, you've already seen this. The Lonely Leftover Vest is a pattern by Wool and Beyond. It's knitted with mostly garter stitch with lots of I-cord edging. That was my least favorite part of this pattern. I don't even put this vest in the closet. I just drape it over a chair, and if I'm cold, I'm just gonna put it over my body. I've been honestly wearing this almost every single day in January. The yarn I used, this is secondhand. It's Cascade 220 in just a neutral white color. And in the back, it is this gray brownish color. And for the I-cord edging, I bought one ball of Sostrana Grana bamboo and wool blend yarn. I do not recommend that yarn because it is, how do I say it? It's not really plied. Oh, this is a similar yarn. This is a different color, but it's the same yarn. You probably can't see, but it's not really plied. And if you pull too hard, the yarn will break. So that means it is very vulnerable to felting. So the armpit area has already felt quite a bit. So that is a pity, but it took me a long time to finish the I-cord, so I'm not gonna redo it. Yeah, that's it. So let's get started with my finished objects so far in January. I have 2.5 because the third one is kind of a fail. I'll talk about it later. But the first finished object are my selbu mittens. So I think this is my second pair of colorwork mittens in the traditional selbu Norwegian style with this thumb flap. And this is a free pattern. I think it's called Rigmor's selbu mittens. I'll put it in the description down below. And the yarn I use is actually yarn gifted by my boyfriend, and because I accidentally made this too big, this is also for my boyfriend. So it's kind of like a gift exchange. He gives me yarn, I give him mittens, hand knitted. If my memory serves me right, both are the Amano yarn, so a Peruvian highland wool, when he was traveling there. And I forgot the name of the color, I'm sorry. This was a bigger size because I knitted up with 4mm needles. But yeah, they are pretty big on me. This is what they look like on me. So yeah, they fit my boyfriend better. That's his gift. And I'm so proud of this one because just look at this. So I definitely want to make more of these and play around with color, play around with sizes, and also play around with maybe circular, like short circular needles, because I use the magic loop technique. And I don't know if you can tell, but the side here is bunching up a little bit, which can be improved upon. So I'd say that this is my very first successful project of the year. Next up, I was feeling, let's say, a bit adventurous. I want to make something that I haven't made before. I want to use up stash yarn, and I want to make something that is functional. So I live in the Netherlands, and currently it's winter, and I often bike to and from work. If the wind is cold, it is really biting cold on the bike. So I decided to make myself a dicky, also known as a neck warmer. And here she is. So yeah, The back and the front, I haven't really decided which is the back, which is the front, but because I was not sure, I was not really following a pattern, I was afraid of losing yarn chicken, so I decided to cast off here and then continue on the other side with all the yarn I have left. So yes, this is a thrifted yarn, and I held two strands together. One strand is a bit lighter green and the other is a bit darker green. So it has this really beautiful marling effect. I don't think you can see from there. So let me tell you what I did. I kind of followed a drops design pattern because they have a lot of free patterns for dickies, but I just didn't want to do their design. I used a 5mm needles and I cast on 80 stitches or 88. Yes, I cast on 88 stitches and basically just did a 2x2 ribbing. Yes, this is really just like a very spontaneous process. And then I looked up the drops design pattern and they divided the neck part into 4 parts. So 22 stitches for the front, 22 stitches in the back, and am I saying things correctly? Is this 22 stitches? Let me count. 3. Okay, I think I know what's up. So it's like 20 stitches for the shoulder, 20 stitches on the other shoulder, and the remaining half for the front and back, if that makes any sense. And I basically just continued the 2x2 on the shoulders, and then did a make one left and make one right to increase about, I think, 18 rounds. And what did I do? Every round or every other round? I think every round. Basically just stopped with increasing and continued knitting down. And I tried this method of a 1x1, you can't see, of a 1x1 rib to prevent it from curling. I think it kind of worked. And then I was very much into using up my scraps. And I knew that this green yarn is a bit too scratchy for my liking. So I decided to just pick up stitches all over my collar and then knit stockinette with a very soft yarn. So if you've seen my previous videos before, you have seen this color. This is a baby alpaca yarn, and it's so soft. I made the Maggie vest with it. So I had a little bit of leftover, so I've decided to kind of make a inner lining. So I just knit stockinette all the way down. And then I realized that the stockinette fabric is not as elastic as a 2x2 rib fabric. So then I decided to eventually also do a 2x2 here. So then my neck would not be cinched in too much, that I can put it over my head. And then I just cast it off by knitting the green and the purple stitches together. And I think it worked out really good. Let me try it on for you. Yeah. It looks a bit weird, but it's all about function. This one is all about function, okay? The collar is quite high, which I want because every time I'm on the bike, I'm doing this. And then I have a hat and only my eyes are visible. Maybe I should make a balaclava because that just feels so functional to me. I have yet to try it on the bike, but I'll keep you updated. But I am really glad I used this yarn on the inside because it really doesn't bother me. So this is my dicky, my first ever dicky. Let's take a sip of this. So good. Perfect temperature. So let's talk about my failed project. I was feeling like knitting colorwork socks. And I have bought this pattern. I've bought this pattern by the infamous colorwork sock pattern person named down below. Yeah, I bought the blooming lavender sock pattern. And I was like, I really want to knit some colorwork socks. And as you can tell, it is not a colorwork sock. Let me tell you what happened. Basically, according to the pattern, they suggested to not catch your floats on the stem part, so on the green part. So I didn't. But little did I know that made the fabric way too tight, like not stretchy at all. I really tried to pull it over my heel, but it ain't budging. So I had to decide then and there, do I want to rip it all back, try again, or give up, or modify it into a little fingerless glove. So I've decided to do that. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a fingerless glove. And it's probably gonna be a singular fingerless glove because I am not motivated to knit a second one. Because to me, this is a representation of how I failed. And it just does not feel nice. Maybe one day, somewhere in the future, I will feel inclined to knit a second one, but not in the near future. But I'll put it on to show you. Here she is. And I haven't blocked it, so that's why the ribbing is so scrunched up. I do really love this ribbing. I've watched Hanan Bonnet. She's slowly becoming one of my favorite knitting YouTubers. Shout out to Hanan. Her socks are just beyond beautiful. And she uses this 3 stitches of stocking stitch, so it curls, and then 20 stitches of 2x2 for her cuffs. And I just love the look of it. I think it's gonna be my new standard. And then I did the same for the ribbing here for the fingers and my thumb. What do you think of the lavender pattern? I think it's alright. I thought it would be cuter. So that's why I'm also not motivated to continue. So I just have a singular fingerless glove. Yeah, sometimes you just need one hand to be warmer than the other one. So my kind of failed finished project. So those were all my finished projects so far. I have 3 works in progresses that I want to show you. This one has been lingering for a bit, but not too bad, not too bad. Let's first talk about this huge ball of yarn. I honestly have no idea what it is. I think I bought it secondhand again because I didn't know what kind of yarn it is. I was being a good child and I gauge swatch. I blocked my swatch as well and it did not grow, so that makes me think it's probably not super wash. And it's very tweedy. It has a lot of different colorful flexes and it's very much plied, but also not tightly plied. Mysterious yarn, but I have a lot of it. So that's why I decided to make a sweater. And this is what we have so far. This is the Hokkaido sweater, which is also a free pattern. I'm telling you, I love free patterns. And I know I haven't finished it yet, but I highly recommend this pattern because of the shaping. The amount of detail in this shaping, like you can barely see the intricacy of the shaping, but there is like many different kind of instructions, like where to increase, etc. So I'll show you the back real quick. Don't know if you can tell, but you increase in many different positions. So it's kind of like this set in sleeve kind of construction. Like fully seamless, in the round. You just go, 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 go. Which I love. I know raglans are also like that, but I don't really like the squareness of raglans, so this is perfect. I really love this. You want me to try it on for you? I can try it on for you. So here's what I have so far. I need 2 more centimeters of stockinette in the body, and then I can do 13 centimeters of ribbing. Wish me luck. And then I can head over to my sleeves. But I use a 5mm needle, and I think it's perfect. It's perfect drapiness, and the fabric is not too holey in my opinion. And I don't know if you can see, but lots of flecks, lots of colorful flexes. I did make the neck a bit shorter because I feel like I don't have such a long neck. And I am still deciding whether or not I want this full turtleneck or if I want a folded neck. So I can decide on that later. But yeah, I want this to be my main project. But as you will see later, I am fully distracted by a different project. But yes, I'm very excited about this one. For this to be done and wearable. Yes, so hopefully next time you see me, this will be done. Hey. 2 more things I want to talk about. I'm just gonna quickly blast through this one because this is the longest whip I've ever had, but I made progress, which I'm so proud of. This is the tight loop tee. Let me show you. I even printed out the entire pattern. The tight loop tee by Otherloops. I printed in black and white to save money. So this is a charted pattern, and I realized that following charts is just not my forte. But I will conquer. So this is how far I have. So the last time, my fronts and my backs were still separate, but I finally connected the back with the front. And I know it looks really weird right now because it's so like scrunched up, but that is because of the stitch pattern. But after blocking, it will stretch out like this. And then it will look like the tides of, sand dunes, I think. And I'm using this Blue Face Leicester yarn that I also found secondhand. I'm not sure if I like this yarn. It's very bouncy and stretchy. In a way, it's very splitty. Not like bamboo cotton splitty, but I think it's very loosely spun. That's why it is so bouncy. Before I used a different needle, and I used very sharp needles, and it kept splitting the yarn. So I'm glad now I'm using just this Knit Pro 3mm needles that are less sharp. So the knitting experience is much better now. So yeah, because I have to read the chart to know where I am, I have been not prioritizing this project, but I've been feeling it again lately. So proud of myself, proud of myself. As you can see, the construction is top down, and And it's kind of a saddle shoulder. There are some German short rows in the beginning, which are visible in mine. I don't know how bad it is, but we'll see after blocking. It is a lot of purling in the beginning. So if you hate purling, don't do this project. But yeah, if I finish this year, I will have my first my first knitted t-shirt. And I know, t-shirt with wool? Are you crazy? I know, living life on the edge. Okay, so yeah, just want to give a small update about this tight loop tee. And then we can head over to my last and most exciting project. So I have feels like a lot of yarn over here. The thing is, I have decided to join a WhatsApp group titled Sock Challenge, which is a group of knitters who want to challenge themselves to knit more socks, to use up those stash of sock yarn. I honestly don't have that much. Now that I've caked up these, I honestly don't have much left. But I don't want to just make a vanilla sock. If you've seen my Everything I Knit in 2024 video, you've seen that I mostly knit vanilla socks. And I kind of want to challenge myself this year. It's kind of my theme, to be adventurous, get out of your comfort zone, try something new. Yesterday, I went on Pinterest. I'm not usually a Pinterest kind of girl, but I went on Pinterest and I looked up some charts for knitting patterns, and I found this one. Isn't it the cutest? It's so cute. It's like a bunch of sheep with one alpaca. So cute. I deliberately looked one up with 60 stitches because in my head, 60 stitches is a good amount for a DK weight sock. Little did I know that it is so hard to find the right gauge if you don't really follow a pattern. So I literally had to unravel like 3 times. But I think I have found my right needle size and stuff like that. So let me talk you through it. So I basically am using whatever that's left in my stash that is sock yarn, and you will see that some of it is not sock yarn because I just don't have the right color, but we work with what we have. So this is the Mondim sock yarn, and I also love how I cake them up in 2 separate balls. Yes, I'm wearing the sock right now. And this is the leftover. So I have decided to hold these 2 together with, where is it? Yes. With this nylon thread that they always give you if you buy sock yarn from the Lang Yarns Jawol brand. So I held 2 strands of fingering with 1 nylon thread together to create my cuff. Can you see? I hope so. To create my cuff. And I used, again, the same technique of 3 rows of stockinette stitch and then this time 10 rows of 2x2. And I really had to do a lot of trial and error for this, but I finally decided to use 3mm needles and cast on 48 stitches. Fingers crossed. I still don't know if this, I hope it's not going to be too big. And then I switched to a 3.25mm needles for the color work. But right before that, I increased the stitch amount to 60 stitches so that I can fit my chart in here, and I have started a little bit of the color work. There is no sheep visible yet, but it will come. I'm so excited. So let me talk you through all the yarn I'm using. And I'm like holding a lot of yarns together because I would just want a nice thick chunky sock, you know, not thin flimsy ones, thick socks. Yes. So these are basically all my scraps. This is Drops Wish. The one that is a chainette kind of yarn in this denim-y blue, light denim-y blue. And this is, as I said, the Sostrana Grande wool and bamboo blend. And I think this color is perfect for the sky in this chart. And because I don't trust this yarn to be sturdy enough, I held it together with this one. Yeah. So this is the sky. And then for the white, I had just some gel wool sock yarn. I caked them up in 2 separate balls, and then also holding it together with the white nylon thread. And then you can see there's a black part, but I don't have black yarn. So I'm gonna use brown instead. I think it'll work. So I'm gonna again separate it into 2 balls, and where is my, yeah. I also have a brown nylon thread. So this is for the black parts. So for the eyes, the feet, the little legs, the little faces. And then for this green field, I'm gonna use the green jawal that I have together with the nylon. And I'm still thinking if I should add this darker deep foresty green yarn that I found thrifted. It is, I would say, lace weight, and I honestly don't know what kind of yarn this is, but it looks very sturdy, and I think it can give the green field some depth if holding it together with this one. Yeah, I haven't decided yet, so I might just hold these together because I think this and this and this is gonna create a very thick fabric. I might just do this. And then for the rest of the foot of the sock, I just have to see how much yarn I use. I'm definitely not gonna use this one because this is not real sock yarn, so it's not gonna be durable. But otherwise, I might just use the gray that I have left from this project. We'll see. It's a very loose creative process of this self-drafting sock pattern that I'm making, but I'm so excited. I'm a little bit afraid that it's gonna be too busy with so many colors, but time will only tell. Yes. So yeah, super excited, and I love seeing all the colors together like this. It gives my heart good feelings, and just looking at this chart just makes me smile. And to have this around my ankles, it's like I have a little herd of sheep and alpaca around my ankles. That's the cutest thing. That is the cutest thing. So that is everything I want to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed knitting what you were knitting. Let me know what you were knitting on. And make sure to take some breaks, get some water, use the restroom. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.